It's 5:08 now, and 5 years ago today, Hurricane Harvey made landfall in Texas.
The National Hurricane Center thought at first Harvey would just be a tropical storm or maybe a Category 1 hurricane. By Friday evening, Harvey had strengthened to a Cat 4 hurricane. Around 10 p.m., the eye of that storm made landfall in Rockport.
And our meteorologist Paul Mireles was in Port Lavaca when the storm hit, giving us a glimpse of what it was like at the time. This morning, he's back in Rockport 5 years later to see how the town has recovered. And Paul, good morning to you. How's it going out there?
Yeah, good morning. Do you like my background back here, the harbor? Yeah, it looks pretty good, right? Yeah, when we drove into town yesterday, I was really impressed that you could hardly see any damage. I mean, especially on the main roads and everything. It looks like Rockport has really come back, and they're just such resilient people here. And everybody I talked to just had a great attitude, and they're looking forward to the future. We did have a chance to talk to some folks, and this is what they had to say.
You know, we're at the 5-year mark of Hurricane Harvey.
The town is totally different.
I have a lot of friends that stayed and some that moved away.
The people of the Rockport-Fulton area are rock solid. We were the ground zero. We were where the eye of the hurricane hit. Hurricane force winds for 13 hours.
Right down the road about 2 miles is where Hurricane Harvey came ashore.
Our building in August 25th, 2017 was completely destroyed.
I mean, there's still a lot of people, believe it or not, 5 years later, that their homes are still messed up from Harvey.
We were the recipient of so many gifts of human kindness.
We have done about 100 repairs, approximately 100 home repairs since Harvey hit.
Most terrifying night of my life.
Well, I was on the phone with him and my mom right before the eye hit, and the roof was peeling off the house, and I lost contact for 13 hours.
When the roof lifted off, I saw a tornado with the lightning. Seeing those tornadoes, I thought, I'm not going to make it. And then eventually the eye passed, and one of my neighbors up at the end of the street had stayed, and he came down with a flashlight seeing if we were okay. I'd like to thank the families. Several of them came down week after week helping us.
Yeah, that gentleman, Stephen Culver, right there, he rode out the storm in his house. Most of the roof blew away. He, of course, it's still troubling to him 5 years later that night, and I can imagine it was just terrifying. I've rode out many a hurricane, but usually in a big hotel. I cannot imagine in just a small house what that must have been like. And he had so many things to say, and the eye went right over, and he saw the stars, and he said it was just a horrific night. But I will tell you this, the folks here, I keep hearing Rockport is rock solid. It has come back amazingly. And, Ryan, one of the reasons why some people had to ride this out is they didn't believe it would be as intense. They'll never do it again.
Yeah.
But they didn't think it was going to be as intense, and it intensified so rapidly, they were kind of stuck.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. It entered the Caribbean as a tropical wave, Paul, and then into the Gulf of Mexico, it rapidly intensified. It took advantage of the warm water. And let's take a look at this. Here's the lifetime of Harvey. And again, in the Caribbean Sea back in 2017, it wasn't much. It was just a group of showers and thunderstorms. But when it entered the Gulf of Mexico, that's where the warm water, temperatures above 80 to 85 degrees, helped it really rapidly intensify from a tropical storm to a Cat 1, Cat 2, and then eventually making landfall in Rockport as a Category 4 hurricane. Major hurricane, and then it backtracked. It moved inland, and then it backtracked towards the Gulf of Mexico, where it dumped upwards of 50 to 60 inches of rainfall in southeast Texas, western Louisiana, near Houston and Beaumont. It was crazy. It was ridiculous to see because of a short amount of time, the hurricane, and how strong it was in a short amount of time. So